everyone, it's Laurie from Quick Scrap Craft. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing a 2-page scrapbook layout for you. Both sides are 12 by 12, and this is actually a layout that you've already seen if you watched my layout share video that I posted earlier this month. You got a sneak peek at it. I did make this last month, but I really enjoyed this design. This is actually the second time that I did this design last month, and I liked it so much the first time that I went, you know what, I better do a process video for this. And just because timing wise, it's only now that you're watching this process video. So I hope you're okay with that, seeing the layout first and then the process video. But that's just how things went. So first I got to tell you that this was from a little sketchbook that I used to keep. It's actually all full. It's just a tiny little spiral notebook that I got at Staples. And I used to go on scrapbook.com, look through the galleries and sketch out layouts that I really liked and that I wanted to scrap lift at some point. So this is from so many years ago and I still had it on my desk. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start going through this little notebook and see what I can find. It was kind of like me doing Pinterest before Pinterest was a thing. So I have all of the Pinterest stuff pinned that I want to do. And then I have all the stuff in this notebook that I had wanted to do. So the name of the layout that I sketched out was called Philippines, and the username was Blush P. Blush as in the makeup, and then P as in the pea that you eat, PEA. I have no idea if this user is still on scrapbook.com. I don't think that I don't use scrapbook.com as much as I used to in terms of communicating with other scrapbookers and sharing my work. There is still a user gallery. You can still upload photos of your layouts to it. Some people, I guess, still do it. It's just not something that I have kept up with. They used to have a forum as well. I don't know if that's still a thing, but they would post challenges and you could, it was very 2006, you guys. When I think about the way it looked, I mean, maybe that's just how forums are supposed to look, and maybe they still look that way today. I don't know, but it was very early 2000s. The way it was all put together, it reminded me of a forum that I used to be in college for Lord of the Rings fans. And I wish I could remember the name of that site because that forum was so great. We had threads just about like Sean Bean's bum. And I remember there was a girl who somehow got a hold of video footage of some of the other work that the actors had done. And she was putting it all in a VHS tape. And she's like, who wants a copy? And so I gave this stranger on the internet my address thinking, oh God, I hope she's for real and not some crazy stalker. My parents are going to be so mad. But she was for real. She sent me the VHS. Not that I have any way to watch it anymore. But yeah, there was just such a nice community of female Lord of the Rings fans just going crazy over all the hot guys in the movie. Anyway, let's talk about scrapbooking. So this is a 2-page design. Originally, the sketch had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 photos on this page. So basically, I'm not doing all 12 photos. But this first side here, I've got 5 photos. So 3 of them I cut to 4x4 so they can fit all the way top to bottom on this 12 by 12 piece of pink cardstock. And then the 2 in the middle, I cut down to 3.5 by 5. That just gives a little more space in between the side photos and the center photos. And then you have space to put like other pattern papers. Now, what's really interesting about this layout is that it is a 2-page layout. However, it uses up scrap paper. So I'm actually not using, aside from the 2 12 by 12 pieces of cardstock as the background, nothing else comes from a full sheet of pattern paper. I'm cutting these circles out of a piece of scrap. The paper strips that you saw on the first page, so the green one, I had a kind of a large size of the green, but not enough to have it on like one page. So I just cut it in basically like in half so that I have a strip of that on one page and then a strip for the other. Kind of the same thing with the heart paper. I just cut it so that I had enough for one side and enough for the other side. And then I've got a bottom piece as well that I cut so that I have a strip for one side and a strip for the other. And so none of them came from full-size sheets of paper. I thought that I was really proud of myself. Anywhere you see me using a circle on the original layout, those would either be a photo. So actually the one with the rainbow there that I'm working on, originally that was supposed to be a photo. So if you have a lot of photos, there's a lot of places for you to put a lot of photos on this layout. And if you don't, then you can kind of do what I'm doing and just use the same sort of shape. I could have put a circular embellishment there instead of cutting a circle, but just keeping the overall design and feel of it kind of the same. The circle that I'm working on right now, that was originally supposed to have some journaling on. I end up doing my journaling in a different spot just because I don't have as many photos, so I end up having some extra space elsewhere for journaling, which you'll see on the second side. But what I'm doing here, these are all photos taken at Legoland last summer. I don't have specific Legoland papers or embellishments, but what I do have are a lot of random embellishments in my stash. So to go with a roller coaster feel from an Echo Park Boy collection, there was a track set with a loop-the-loop, like it was supposed to look like a Hot Wheels track set. And I'm like, well, they rode a roller coaster with I don't think it had a loop, but they still rode a roller coaster, and that's what that little loop sticker reminded me of, so I put that on there. I also just used some random phrase stickers from my stash, some enamel dots. So I found that even though this was a theme layout, all the photos were of one specific place, even though I didn't have specific amusement park photos or amusement park embellishments or Legoland embellishments, I was still able to go through my stash and find pieces that I could make fit, which is always really fun. And yes, I am inking the edges of everything in my Hampton Art black ink just to help it stand out a little bit against the pink background. When you are cutting things and you're doing a double-sided layout, always make sure that you remember the measurements for everything, because it makes it really hard when you're like, oh no, what was that supposed to be? I would actually recommend if you're cutting paper and you're cutting for one side, just go ahead and cut for the second side at the same time so that you're just good to go and you can set aside those second side pieces until you're ready for them. Okay, so over on this side, you can see I don't have as many photos as on the first side. I still have the two center photos. Those are 3.5 by 5. When I did this design on the first layout, I didn't have two photos on this side. So if you put the two pages together, my center photos had 3 photos and then one big spot for journaling, as opposed to just all 4 photos. But on the up and down part, my 4x4 photos, I only had 2. So I cut a piece of 4x4 pattern paper, and that's where I'm going to end up doing the journaling for this. I brought the circles back onto this side. There are circles on this side in the original layout. And again, one of them, the top one is supposed to be a photo, and the bottom one is supposed to have some journaling on it. I don't think I kept the placement the same for these. The top photo originally she had going on the inside, on the left-hand side of that top photo. Mine, it looks like I'm putting it on the bottom right-hand side of that top photo. Doesn't matter because this is my layout. I can do whatever I want with it. There's a sticker from that. That's actually not a sticker. The Be Brave thing is from a zoo collection. But because we're talking about roller coaster rides and some of them can be scary, I thought I would put that on there just because I thought it would fit. And I had to say, the rides aren't bad at Legoland. It's not Six Flags where you've got rides that like spin you upside down and whatever. But they are fun. They're probably better suited for younger kids, but it is really cool. It's a really nice park. At least the one in New York is. It's a really interesting design. You kind of start at the top and walk down and then walk back up, and they've got Lego structures made to look like, New York City and Washington, D.C. and built to look like different world monuments and that kind of thing, which is really cool. And then they have a splash pad, which is pretty awesome. except when there's a thunderstorm and they see lightning and they make you evacuate before your time in the splash pad is up. That was not so much fun, but we still had a good time. I would definitely go back if it wasn't so expensive. Oh, here I'm adding some Tim Holtz, my favorite yellow, the lemonade color of the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide spray. I thought I was pulling up the yellow color from my Distress Oxide spray bin so I could tell you squeezed lemonade. Why can I never remember that it's squeezed? I always want to say like speckled or freckled or whatever. It's squeezed, and that makes total sense because if you're making like juice, you're going to squeeze the fruit. Anyway, don't worry about me getting the splatters on the photos. They easily wipe up with a baby wipe or a tissue. I always have those things handy on my desk. I hope you enjoyed today's 2-page process video and that you come back next week for lots more scrapbook process and card making. Thanks for watching so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.